Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to a different kind of Pokemon video because what I want to do is read negative comments from other Pokemon videos, and it was all inspired by Blaziken's glorious feather crotch right here. I mean, the classic Parents Beware, and this comment keeps taking off. I mean, there's 164 comments, and according to this, there was 1,500 people that found it not helpful and 117 that found it helpful. This is pretty much almost infamous. Also, when it comes to Pokemon genitalia, apparently you guys absolutely love it. I'm not here to judge. Just saying, from my facts and my data that I have on YouTube, right here, the Blaziken video, which took 10 minutes of work, tops. Like, I don't even think I edited the thing. I just went through, 5 minutes of talking about Blaziken and then some other Pokemon news. But then we have this video, my top 10 new designs for Pokemon that need to happen. It's getting the same views. I'm getting the same amount of views from this video. It came out a day earlier, so naturally the numbers are going to look different. And this took 8 hours to make. So if I get to talk about Pokemon crotches for 5 minutes and do better than a video that took hours, I'll take that any day of the week. Now also I decided, hey, this inspired me to kind of look at the other comments. And the other comments, fairly interesting. I mean, some of these are actually hilarious because it's just, well, not hilarious. They're sad because I feel bad for the people that are getting absolutely scammed. And that's another thing I want to talk about. So these are definitely like the bottom percent of comments. Like these are 1 star, 1%, 2% tops of comments are going to be like these 1 star on the ratings. And I was actually reading through them, and I think it might make a good video just to talk about what's going on right here. Like right here. Awful idea. Why Pokemon got shoehorned into a fighting game instead of a MMO or a full AAA Wii U title with the gameplay of the handheld series is beyond me. Redundant due to Smash, and it's even more redundant when Tekken 7 launches, and also it's competing with Street Fighter 5. Brings up a decent point. I mean, it is kind of brutal that Pokkén Tournament and Street Fighter 5 are like hot right now, or at least Street Fighter 5 is pretty big, and Pokkén Tournament kind of has to compete with that. So while that is a bit of a problem, I just don't like this guy that he's like, I'd rather have an MMO. Oh, why? That's you, man. No one really, like, I know people do want a Pokemon MMO, and one published and licensed by Nintendo would be a lot better than some of these janker ones that we're getting that are kind of dodgy because they're not technically legal because they're just kind of ripping off Pokemon sprites and stuff. But overall, when I look at it, like, why would you also want a AAA Wii U title? I mean, the thing that makes Pokemon great is how small and just really well done the story is. I feel that if you try to go over the top with AAA, it might take away from it. And Pokkén Tournament, like this guy is, I'm like spending half the video on just this one comment. It's what it looks like. But this guy, like, he doesn't understand. This is a AAA title in a way. Like, do you see the graphics of this game? The game's beautiful. It shows how Pokemon play in real life. Instead of giving us another battle revolution, I think this is a better way of doing it because it has flow to it. It's more immersive. It's not turn, attack, turn, attack. It's actually getting somewhere with the way that Pokemon interact. Like, it shows what Pokemon battling is in real life. And if that isn't AAA to you, then get out of here. Additional complaint, hope you like limited selection of Pokemon because there aren't that many to choose from. I think there's enough styles. There could be more, but overall there's that. I mean, Street Fighter 5 doesn't even have a huge roster, and Pokkén Tournament might be able to get more. Don't waste your money. Game sucks. 3 combos for each Pokemon, like 10 Pokemon you can use. Don't waste your money. I don't even know what this one's up to. Well, box art okay, but passed to hype. It for fanboy, my friend with fanboy, and he only friend that liked it. It go through tunes and not have enough game modes, and bad single player, not good enough to do friend. Felt bad for friend, if fanboy say yes, if no, Street Fighter from play fanboy gaming. Okay, thanks, and glad help you game Megavac. Whew. I don't know, that seems too bad to be broken. This has to be a troll, like, this has to be a troll. This has to be a troll. Like, this, like, I'm not trying to, if this guy doesn't know English very well, but I mean, it doesn't seem like he should be commenting like that. This is either a 5-year-old that is spoiled and doesn't like this game for God knows what reason, but the way he's talking about, like, fanboys and stuff, I don't know, this one confounds me. Let's go and see it. Yeah, my reviews were good trying to help people. Stick to your native language. Oh, nom. Brutality. Depending on what kind of gamer you are, easily a 1-star game, so I have all of his reviews. 1 star might be legit. Can Amazon stop this person from making reviews? His track record's horrible. 95% of things. Yeah, this guy's a troll. 95% of the things that are reviewed are 1 star, and probably the 5-star things are trash games, because he's... Alright, we found the troll, but then there's this, just awful. I suggest PS4 and Street Fighter 5. We use a tough sell, gotta say. Product arrived, did not work. What disappointment, disc was not working on any Wii U system. So this is when we start getting into the scammy kind of areas. And now, let's go and look at Pokemon Black version and White. Well, just Black version, but Pokemon Black and White, kind of same thing. This is where the good stuff comes in. I am not a fan of the Pokemon 5th generation. And right here, I mean, worst Pokemon generation, but also, there's ones about it. Like, right here, it's a scam. Terrible. I bought it, opened it, put it in my 2DS, didn't work, data froze. Hoping to get Pokemon Black, but I ended up getting Mario Kart DS inside of a Pokemon Black case. December 29, 2014. So this was made, this purchase was after Pokemon X and Y. This purchase was after Oras, the guy trying to pick up Pokemon Black version and gets a Mario Kart DS inside. Do not buy this game, not supported by Nintendo any longer. It's not possible to connect to Nintendo Wi-Fi. Don't buy this, it's a scam, a sham, a jip, a bamboozle. Not something you should sink a penny into. The person selling this did it with a modding device. So pretty much he's putting a ROM onto blank cartridges and then it's breaking or just sending empty boxes. And this game was trash. And now we're just getting into the ones bashing actual Black and White. I've played Pokemon since I used to sneak my Game Boy Pocket in my 5th grade classroom and play it under my desk. I've supported the series since Blue version and bought at least one version from each generation. So not a Gen 1er. Immediately. Not a Gen 1er right here. And this is where like the 5th generation fanboys... Oh, we can read these comments, please. I don't think you even try to give the game a chance. Graphic-based reviews do not make good reviews, so you play the game based solely on graphics, not story, not gameplay. I mean, the graphics suck. Pokemon is pretty graphic-driven. I mean, yes, the Pokemon move, but they look like the sketches. I mean, judging from this, if the person's played Pokemon his entire life, he doesn't care that's pixel-looking. He's talking about the garbage designs. Like, yeah, and the graphics, you know, it seemed like a good attempt, but yeah, I can see that. 99% of the new Pokemon are unappealing, ugly, boring, or sometimes downright creeping. I agree with this guy. I like this. Complete lack of Pokemon from older generations. The Pokemon musical. I did that once. The Pokemon musical was a complete joke, yet I remember doing the Pokemon contest where I got to like put feathers and stuff on my Pokemon, and that was Diamond and Pearl, right? Yeah, I did that a lot more than I did with the Pokemon musical, so it was very silly. All in all, everything about the game felt manufactured, unnatural, unpleasant. Right there. Seriously, oh wait, that was the seriously don't. And then there was this guy flying into why this game is horrible. Pokemon story, villainous team sucks, go play Black and White 2. No, I just like Black and White 2 more. These games suck, really, I don't lie. Yes. Yes, alright, treat it like trash, yeah, okay. I want to see what that other thing was talking about. Disappointing. What are the comments with this? I'm just looking for the Gym Warner. I would disagree with several points of your review. The controls were more complex. Yeah, these are where the people just go in right there. Agree about the new Pokemon. I'm embarrassed with my Pokemon, or I was embarrassed for my Pokemon first time I watched it dance. Does that online Interlink Dream World stuff. Complete lack of Pokemon from older generations throughout the course of the story. Makes it feel like an RPG from a different franchise. Yeah, okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was. I was waiting for that one guy. It's like, you Gen 1er, stupid kid person. Actually, 2-star reviews might have some disappointing game. Wow. This guy goes off. Very long time Pokemon fan. Started the series when I was 8 or 9. I own every game from every series, not counting the remakes. Particularly underwhelmed by the battle animation. So, I mean, there is something here. Formula has gone stale. I don't agree with these. I honestly do not agree with these reviews, and that's like another reason I'm looking into the whole Pokemon things, because like, yeah, the formula hasn't gone stale. It just means that you're not a fan of Pokemon. Like, I've played all the Pokemon games. I find it fine. 5 generations, basic formula has not changed. I never had a problem with that. I didn't like Black version because it was the same thing. It just had terrible designs, and it was not a good story. It was just not a good anything. Pokkén, least favorite game. Pokemon Black, too much change. Too much change? So not enough change into too much change. These people just can't make up their minds. Now, one thing I wanted to show that's actually pretty hilarious. The reason why people are getting scammed when it comes to Pokemon Black and White when they're buying it on Amazon is because Nintendo's not making this game anymore, and like the Amazon sellers are kind of sketchy. It's sold by All Deals For You. I would not trust a game. I would not trust anything sold by a person that markets themselves as All Deals with a Z, the number 4, and then a capital U. Also, European version, no compatible US. Yes. No compatible US. So, I mean, if you buy this right now on Amazon from All Deals For You, you're getting scammed because it's not going to work because it's not even compatible on your DS. So yeah, don't buy Pokemon games from Amazon if it's like more than a year old, and maybe not even then. Now there are a lot of reviews of people that got just a fine, workable, if I can scroll down to it. I'm not trying to like make it too blurry as well. That's actually a low amount of 5-star reviews, oh my goodness. But yeah, small amount of people. For the most part, it's going to get, oh, get out of here. Best game since first gen, get out of here. Let's go and look at the other ones. This was from the Pokkén Tournament one. And then now we have Pokemon X. All right. Pokemon X. Love this game, but it got corrupted twice. Yeah, there was that Lumio City and just a lot of corrupted saves. Item didn't come in case. Description didn't provide any information saying it was loose or refurbished. Paris bought the game for my brother in 3DS. Game didn't work. Can somebody help me, please? You can't be helped because it's probably an English game for your European DS. Does not work. Ordered this for my son over the weekend. Said it would be here by Friday. Got home from work. Already on the porch. And let's see. Just to find a coverless box with nothing inside. Yeah, that was, oh, wow. That was last month, February 2nd. So yeah, if it's, it's like 3 years old. Don't even try with, these games. Well, not 3 years, but you know, it's old. Don't even try from Amazon. You're going to get scammed. Game came with a freaking case. Oh, my game did not come with a freaking case. Hey, at least he got his game. Game didn't work. Doesn't work. The worst. Missing game cartridge. And received this game for my son today. His face was full of smiles. And it's not working. Upset. Okay, so the 1 stars of Pokemon X and Y are mostly from scams. 2 stars are definitely going to be game reviews. Not as good as Red and Blue. Ooh. Juicy. I have to be one of the biggest Pokemon fans. I love games. I spent hours on Black and White too. I love Platinum. However, this game was a big letdown for me. X and Y aren't so good as it's supposed to be. Here's a weird thing I've noticed. That if you're fans of the 5th generation, you don't like 6th generation. But if you don't like 5th generation, you're more of a fan of 6th generation. Now, though, there's people that don't like both. There's people that like both, of course. But I've seen that there's a trend like that. And that's kind of interesting right there because I love Pokemon X and Y. I would consider the 6th generation Pokemon my second favorite generation under 2nd generation. And then there's also SoulSilver. HeartGold SoulSilver, best Pokemon game. SoulSilver, best Pokemon game hands down. Gotta say that. Pokemon X and Y has too many flaws. Rivals are very known. I did not like the story with the rivals right there. I will say that right there. I didn't like that we had like tubs and all these different people running around, and the friend things were weird. Only 70 new Pokemon. Most of them were bad. Get out of here. Klefki is amazing. I don't care what you say. Actually, I don't have a problem with any 6th generation Pokemon design. I gotta say, I genuinely enjoyed all of the Pokemon design. Sword, Cotton Candy, Key, and a Mexican wrestler Pokemon. You just called out all the best ones. Get out of here. Maybe I don't like Zygarde. Let's go with that. And Hoopa. And Volcanion. But the main Pokemon the game was released with. Games for little kids. I got into it. Games for little kids. Got into it again. But the story was so weak. I don't play Pokemon for the story. That's not a weird thing I hear from like 5th generation Pokemon fans. Is like, oh, but Black and White has a better story than any of the other Pokemon games. I actually, 1st generation has a story. 2nd generation has a story. And I prefer a non-complex story that's more engaging about being something than like the Black and White story. I didn't like that. I felt the X and Y story reached a little, but it was still pretty good. Shockingly unevolved. I don't know. I wouldn't say that. It's the same game, same story. Well, then don't buy it. If you know it's going to be the same thing with the same story, it's going to be Pokemon. This is all that Pokemon will ever be when it comes to handhelds. It's inexcusable. The game is bare bone. Here's another thing I wanted to actually go on because I have the reviews for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire right here. The thing I feel about the 6th generation is that separately it's incomplete, but together it's perfect. And I'll talk about that in a second. Confidence fully refurbished, same game as always. Then don't make a comment. These guys, ow, I just hit my desk and that probably sounded really bad on the mic. Invalid. You do not have a valid opinion if you're saying this. Can't beat the originals. I don't know. Series have evolved. Yeah, just stop this. All right, that's tilting me right there. I was expecting legitimate criticisms, but it not evolving just means that you don't play it. You're not good for Pokemon anyway. Game sucks really bad. Pokemon Y was more fun, and now we're on to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So I feel that there's also a big thing because a lot of people didn't like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I don't know why. Actually, let's see the reviews. So, actually, okay. A lot of people liked it, but it seemed like there was a good amount of people that were disagreeing with what I was up to. Now, there were 0 2 stars, but a lot of 1 stars. Game Boy Advance version was much more like the show, unlike this one. I beat the game within 24 hours, which would have been impossible to Game Boy. Get out of here. No. It ain't impossible to beat that game in 24 hours. If you're actually good, which you weren't when you were a kid when the game came out. How old was this game? Like, is it a 10-year-old remake? Something like that. I forget about the dates and stuff, but I mean, like, yeah, I beat the Pokemon Red and Blue Virtual Console in 6 hours. And the first time I played that game, it took me like 40. So, no, you grew up, you became smarter, you're not an idiot that's throwing out useless attacks, you're actually playing the game because you understand it. And then, let's see, the HM leader is wrong, the original champion was the 8th HM leader, the new one. That's not a criticism, that's the story, because they actually changed it and they made it better. Butchered the game, Pokemon season that came with it, not just... Now, there is nostalgia blindness, and there is legitimate. This is nostalgia blindness. This is not proper... Nah, I can't take that one seriously. Game is good, case is empty without the game card. Do not like anything about this game. Must be meant for children because it was boring and simple. Now, here's another thing. There was a lot of complaints for X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha, like the 6th generation, because the experience share made the game too easy. 1. Anyone that thinks this is an idiot because they could have turned off the experience share. 2. From what I noticed in Pokemon X and Y, it felt like all of the champions Pokemon, they were higher levels than average, like champions and stuff. Or at least that's how I felt about it. So the experience share helps you get through a game that actually had tougher opponents, is what it felt like. So it felt really well paced, and even then, if you didn't like it, turn it off, don't complain about it, because you can turn it off and it doesn't change your gameplay experience whatsoever. That's like the single player side. And if you get mad that someone else is going to beat the game faster because they left it on, you can't complain because that's single player interactions. I don't understand how you could be jealous of someone else's single player in that game. That's another thing about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I felt the pace was a little fast, but this is where the games complement each other. Empty case, no game, inside case, badly designed mess. Not a badly designed mess. I think it was one of the better ones when it comes to design. Graphically, game's a complete mess. What are these about? They just go through it together, a bunch of deadlines, forget it. Well, I do not see the mingled mess of graphics. Hey! Cyanide Kool-Aid. I don't like that name. Well, you know, troll name, but anyway, I like what you're saying. They will not remake Red and Blue. It is a remake of a previous game. You should screw around with I don't think you should screw around with the established characters too much. Yeah, I don't get it. There's people that are complaining it's not different enough, and there's people that are complaining it's too different. I think everything was really true, and then the Delta chapter kind of gave the extra little bits that the game needed. But when it comes to Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which is another reason why I'm doing this video, not just to like go off on 1-star reviews and oh no, that's 4.8 out of 5 stars. That's a really nice. What did this get? I should compare like the total ratings as well. Ooh, 83%. Wow. So yeah, it looks like people were like super more hyped for the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which does make sense. As we can see here, Pokemon Black and White did not score well at all. And this was Pokkén Tournament. So far, lots of 5 stars, lots of 4 stars, and then a lot of 1 stars. Interesting. Where were we? So when it comes to Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I feel the 6th generation, you need to play both games. Here's why. Omega Ruby has the post game. And I was reading, I just stumbled so hard. I was reading through these comments earlier, and one guy said that this game sucked because it had no Battle Frontier and no post-game because of it. What? This game was entirely post-game, and he said that catching the legendaries... I need to find this. Never mind, I found it. Okay, cons. No Battle Frontier, no avatar customization, ridiculously easy. Without Frontier, post-game is severely lacking. Plot was rushed. Post-game legendaries could just have easily been mystery gifts. The plot was the same as the original game, so I don't know what you're saying right there. Post-game legendaries could have been mystery gifts. So you're saying there was no post-game, except for the legendaries, which drew out the post-game substantially. But you're saying those should be mystery gifts, therefore there's no post-game. The Battle Frontier was never supposed to be in these remakes anyways. I don't understand why people are so attached to the Battle Frontier. No avatar customization. You're playing as the original characters from Ruby and Sapphire version. You're going to be Brendan, or you're going to be May. I don't know if she has a different name. I just know Brendan because I had a friend named Brandon, and I made the connection like that. Anyway, no avatar customization. I never found that big. Like, Pokemon X and Y having avatar customization, that didn't give me points for the game, and didn't take off points for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire for not having it. And if Pokemon Sun and Moon doesn't have avatar customization, I'm not going to knock off any points, because I don't care about it. Ridiculously easy. No. You just grew up again is what I have to say about it. So, yeah, this is one of those weird, contradicting ones. Gen 3 was and still is my favorite gen, however this wound up. I think this guy, yeah, this is like nostalgia goggles, just not understanding that it's the same game, honestly. So that's a problem right there. So let's talk about why I feel these games complement each other perfectly. So this is all post-game. We have the daycare loop on the Battle Island where we get move tutors. Move tutors are more advanced, I feel, that when you're coming up with competitive guides and stuff, like when I found out that the 6th generation Pokemon got move tutors, and we had 6th generation, like, Blue Pentagon legal move tutors, that changed everything competitively, and it gave you a grind fest. You have to go to the Battle Maison, you have to go and get tons of points, and that's your post-game right there. You also have a lot of online interaction, so I feel that that's post-game as well. If you don't want to get competitive, well, it's the same as all the other Pokemon games. The game effectively ends when the story ends. Maybe get a couple other tinkery things, but even then, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire had more. You got to catch all the legendaries. You got to pimp out your secret base. And right now, with the way that the Dex Nav was, finding different Pokemon using the Dex Nav. You got egg moves. You got hidden abilities. You got so many extra features after the game. And technically, Delta Chapter is post game. A little bit of extra story. I don't know, yeah, this is all post-game, but at the same time, Pokemon X, this had no post-game, but it was all story-driven, I feel. That once you got through the story, it was kind of done, but it was a really fun experience throughout the way, and that's kind of how Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire wasn't. The storyline was something we already seen, and it could be rushed, but I wouldn't call that against the game. That'd just be like if you played through Ruby and Sapphire really fast. So, that's why they complement each other. You know, you want to experience the 6th generation, you play X and Y. Get an understanding of Kalos, you get an understanding of the new Pokemon. I think the storyline is well done. Like, the pace of the game is wonderful for Pokemon X and Y. And the post-game, not fantastic, but there are a couple things to do. You can max out your character, you can max out your style in Lumio City. Well, not max out, but you can make your character look exactly how you want to. There are some extra mechanics for, like, Pokemon training and stuff that you can take advantage of. Hordes for EV training. And then we have Pokemon Omega Ruby with all of its goodies in the post-game that you can actually grind up and really work towards. I mean, people didn't take secret bases enough, but that's a huge gameplay mechanic, and a lot of resources went into making that awesome. I'm just kind of screwing around over this, but yeah. So, how I feel about it, some of the criticisms have some validity to it, but most of them are just people complaining, and it isn't a reflection on the actual score of the game. I mean, it seems like the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire ones were the most negative, but it was the highest scoring game, and then, I mean, Pokemon 5th generation's just a mess. Black and White's a mess regardless. That's what we have to say about it. So yeah, it all started because of the Feather Dick, and now I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just rambled for a while. Maybe you found it enjoying. I had the face cam so you could just see me snapping it up if that's what it's all about. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.